Okay, this is our math and social justice project with Myka, Kayci, and Chloe.
For the TEKS, the mathematical concept is students will gather data about biographies and autobiographies to create graphs. This could be tally graphs, bar graphs, and picture graphs. Students will then analyze the data in those groups to create an action plan. And the grade we chose to do is second grade, and the first TEK is organize a collection of data with up to 4 categories using pictographs and bar graphs with intervals of 1 or more. The second one we used is use a problem-solving process to identify a problem, gather information, list and consider options, consider advantages and disadvantages, choose and implement a solution, and evaluate the effectiveness of the solution. For the rationale, racism and sexism are concepts that our teachers and students should be aware of in the classroom. Teachers need to be advocates in the library and the classrooms is a great way to start and maintain that inclusivity for students of all ages. Minority students notice when they are represented in the books and in the content. Unfortunately, it does not happen as much as it should. Students have that natural curiosity to learn more about others. They want to see themselves in books, but they also want to see their friends and families. Our essential question, does our classroom have diversity? Within what do we read?
So we decided we wanted to introduce the project with some books that would be good examples of what to look for. So for the first one, we chose The Proudest Blue, A Story of Hijab and Family. This one is about 2 Muslim sisters and they're going to school. The oldest decides to wear her hijab for the first time, and it kind of shows how the students interact with her and her feelings about that. The second one is 13 Ways of Looking at a Black Boy. It's a book of poems describing the lives of Black boys and men and just what they go through on the day-to-day. 3 is Harbor Me. There's 6 different students with 6 different struggles within their families, and they come together to work with one another. And then the last one is Other Words, and it's a Syrian girl and her family. They moved to America and kind of what they're going through. We chose a video for our multimedia source.
Diversity in literature matters. This video was created by mother-daughter writing duo R. Marion Troy and Pixie Carlisle. Meet Abby. She's 11 years old and she's excited about absolutely everything. Her big brother Atticus is a math whiz like their mom. While they're crunching numbers, Abby and her dad are usually off on adventures at the library. For a book lover like Abby, today is the best day of the month at school. It's book report topic day. Abby's teacher gives the assignment, find yourself in a book. Abby starts thinking. She'd love to see a girl who looks just like her on an adventure far away, maybe somewhere magical. Miss Sophie, Abby's favorite librarian, has pulled a few titles in advance for her. Miss Sophie's been part of a growing movement to diversify children's and young adult literature, and she knows all too well that the options in her library are very limited. In fact, 2 of the 3 books Miss Sophie found are about young adults of color in trouble with the law. That definitely wasn't the adventure Abby had in mind. Research shows that Abby's disappointment is commonly shared among children of color. The Cooperative Children's Book Center, housed at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, studies and documents the number of books for children by and about people of color. The findings are alarming. There are more books with animal heroes than children and young adults of color. Abby asks Miss Sophie why there are so few girls and boys who look like her in books. Miss Sophie begins to explain a rather complicated publishing process. While self-publishing is certainly on the rise, the entire system, from marketing to ending up on school book lists, in libraries, and in bookstores, is still created by and rigged for major publishers. So, hopeful authors send query letters to literary agents to ask them to represent their work. Publishers don't typically review unsolicited, unrepresented manuscripts. Thousands of stories are at the mercy of literary agents who pitch stories they represent to publishers. Ever notice that you see the same kinds of books at the same time? Literary agents and publishers follow trends. Once the publishing industry thinks that one series is going to become very successful, more literary agents will begin to express interest in reviewing those kinds of manuscripts. Think back a few years. Thanks to 2 successful series, a number of paranormal young adult love stories and dystopic tales have been published. There have been so many that I've noted libraries and bookstores with dedicated shelves to those trends. In many respects, publishing amounts to little more than follow the leader. So you can see how the majority of books published and heavily marketed by publishing houses end up featuring the same kinds of characters and themes.
Okay, so for our activity, the students will analyze the biographies and autobiographies available in the school library. They will record the total number of biographies and autobiographies that they find. They will record how many of the books are about men and how many are about women. They will also analyze and record the ethnicity of each book's subject. Once the data is collected, the students will then graph the information they find using all tally graphs, bar graphs, and pictographs. Once all of the data has been graphed, students will create an action plan to try to improve their school library. And for the assessment, students will identify what actionable steps they will want to take after collecting, graphing, and analyzing the data. Students will work on their action plans in small groups and actually follow through with their plans on ways they can bring justice, equitable learning to their school. At the end of this activity, students will then present their action plans and results to the class where they will receive a formative and summative assessment. And that's it.